Hi, my name is Hannah Turner, and this is my Module 12 case study for EDL 852. So, my summary the first thing that happened was by a close vote, a new middle school is being built, and it's being built because the school is just growing so much. There were several factions of, groups that developed during this vote, but it was narrowly decided to go ahead and build a new school instead of, adding on to the two existing schools. Um, Once the school was decided to have been built, the first thing that the superintendent did was to hire a new principal. This new principal will work for a year before the school opens. And so, this new principal, her first task is to create mission and vision statements. And so, she has gathered a team of stakeholders to develop the school's mission and vision. And this team has voted to let Susan develop the mission and vision solo and then approve, deny her ideas. So members of the team desire for the new principal to take the lead in developing the mission. It is more. It's not something that's they're not being lazy by any means. They just have a lot of faith in her, and they're treating her as an expert. Input from everyone was not given. There was one person who abstained from the vote. It's a group of 9. 7 people voted for her to go ahead and take the lead. Susan Potter, the principal, she elected to she did not vote for that way, and then the last person did abstain from the vote. And also, it's important to note that her expert advice was not heeded. I find it interesting that they want to treat her as an expert, but they didn't listen to her advice. So these events occurred on presumably school property. It wasn't explicitly stated, and it was during their first planning meeting. Susan knew that this was going to happen prior because she had met with one of the teachers before. And so she knew that this was most likely going to happen. And so she presented her ideas to the whole group, and the whole group still voted this way. So currently, the principal, 4 teachers, and 4 parents are this on this team of sorts. But soon enough, every single stakeholder will be affected by this decision because mission and vision really shape the direction of a school. And the principal says the decision should be a group effort, like a consensus type. And 7 others say it should be her decision, and 1 member did not vote, as I stated before. So, continuing my summary, both factions, I think it's important to note that both factions think that they're acting in the best interest of students in the future. Okay, it's not a decision out of laziness for either one. They are truly trying to do what they think is best. So a principal is obviously best equipped to lead. She has done, a lot of leading before in her line of work. But as an outsider, she definitely needs a lot of input and a lot of direction. Um, Data use is not present, but it should be in the vision and mission statements. And same with technology, it's not present, but you should be able to use it, and we can do that by collecting data. Equity, the principal developed a team with and expressed a desire to continue with equity, make it fair for everyone. And she included different types of stakeholders as well in this team. And that's where the diversity comes in. Digital citizenship was not present, and it should be again in the vision and mission statements. Community has been attempted, but it is not really all that present because not everyone has equal input. Susan has attempted to share duties and is considering to do it next. And I think that the team members are honestly too trusting. Not necessarily that they shouldn't trust Susan, but they should kind of take a little bit of ownership in their own hands. So, section 2, do we have any legal or ethical issues? So, no one has been physically or emotionally harmed. No laws have been contravened, no contracts have been broken, and no harassment has occurred. But if Susan does all of this work herself, is this really the best way to do this? Is this really the most ethical way to do this? I don't really think so. I think mission and vision statements, because they affect such a huge group, they affect everybody, right? It really shouldn't be the one person making it. This isn't, like Susan says in the case study, it's not her school, it's everyone's school. And so a lot of people should have a lot of influence on those types of decisions. So, my synthesis Susan Potter, the newly appointed principal of a brand new middle school, has been selected by her own team to be the individual to develop the school's vision, in spite of her protests and requests to do the task as a group. All right, so let's evaluate. So, what facts are we missing here? Um, we've only heard from just a handful of team members. We have not heard from all 9 people. We've heard from Susan and we've heard from 2 other teachers, and that's it. There are 6 other people who we had not heard from. And I want to know exactly where this is taking place. Is it taking place on neutral ground, or is someone feel kind of out of place, like the parents? Like, do the parents feel comfortable, being there? To be honest, and I want to know what the mission and vision statements are at the elementary and high schools. I think that those will give us the most insight as to what the community is kind of expecting, and all of these answers are going to help us bring clarity as to how we can move forward, and what really we need to do as we move forward. Okay, so prioritize. So a new school is being built. A mission and vision statement need to be developed ASAP, because once we have those things together, then we can start developing curriculum. We can start prioritizing, like hiring additional teachers, because I know a lot of them have already been hired, but there are still some positions that need to be opened. Um, and different programs that students may want, and the rules of the school, all of those things kind of depend on the mission and vision statement, and we can't really develop those things until the mission and vision statement are in place. The team has elected the new outsider principal to create those statements. Whether you agree with that or not is up to you, and the principal is obviously uncomfortable with their wishes. So, what would I do? First thing I would do is I would accept the role chosen for me, even though I would disagree with it also. I wouldn't be comfortable with all that responsibility either, especially as an outsider, because I don't know. And I would like to gather input from each member, um, from this team. Like, what do you like about the school? What do you not like? What's your philosophy of education? The team has already complained about how long it was going to take for all of them to write down their philosophies of education and debate them individually. I think we can do this in a faster way. Just have a conversation about it. Just talk to me about it. And I would also like to review the mission and vision statements of the existing schools, the elementary and the high school, to kind of get a sense of like the core values and like where the school stands on different things like data use and technology and all that stuff. And I would like to research mission and vision statements of similar schools, and maybe some unsimilar schools, to find some commonalities for data use, technology, equity, diversity, digital citizenship, community, especially if they're not present in the current mission statements of the elementary and high schools. And the mission statement would have to include solutions to modern problems, and that's why it's important to include data use, technology, diversity, digital citizenship. I think the other two are pretty common throughout, but those first four, those are fairly modern additions. So my basic plan would be to solicit input from various sources, including parents, teachers, and students. Propose my general ideas to the team, and then revise as needed, and have them, correct any ideas that I may have that may be wrong, and use those ideas that I have now as fact about the school and about what they want, to create a statement, and then debate as a team to arrive at a consensus. I think it's important that we reach consensus and not just a majority vote like what just happened earlier. Um, and as a team, I would like to propose the mission and vision statements to the superintendent and the board of education. I would not want to do this on my own. I would be very adamant about that. And also from them, we can revise as needed. I would like to make the process more collaborative through delegation. I don't think it's fair that I do everything myself. And I would also need to begin immediately. I wouldn't waste time complaining about it or trying to change people's mind. Time is of the essence, and the faster we get this mission and vision statement done, and I would want to do a quality job. Don't get me wrong. The faster we can move on to some other important tasks of the school. And I would want to gain as much information from outside sources as possible. I think that is the most important thing that I can possibly do. So some pros and cons of my plan. Some pros. It's quick. I'll have to start immediately. It respects the team's decision instead of creating a lot of conflict among the team members. And it incorporates information from multiple sources: parents, students, teachers, the current mission and vision statements from the elementary school, other outside sources, all that stuff. But some cons, I would have to do all of the work. I would have to do all of the thinking. And it's not as collaborative as I'd like. I have to be kind of sneaky about that. And the statements that are said to me that I gather that information, they may not be representative, and they may also not be honest. Some people may be a little bit afraid to be completely honest with me about like what they like and what they don't like and what they expect from the school. So that's kind of a con here. So have all students and adults been consulted? No, and I don't think that's possible. This school is as big as I'm thinking it is, that it's so big that we had to build a new middle school. There's no possible way I can talk to every single kid and adult involved. There's just not. Um, but I can get lots of information, and by getting a lot of different information, that will help me develop a quality statement. And I can delegate this information gathering process to appropriate team members. Like I can ask teachers to ask other teachers about what they think. I can ask parents to ask other parents. I can also ask teachers and parents to talk to their kids, figure out what it is that we want as a community. Because, like I said, people may not be completely honest with me because they don't know me. And I also have to include aspects surrounding technology and diversity because this is going to be a modern school and we need to be very future focused because mission and vision statements need to last for at least 5 years, right? And I want the school to last even longer. I want the school to last 50, 100 years. And so I have to keep the future in mind. So let's implement my decision. So the first two steps are kind of like some background information. So to review what's happened so far, a new school is being built and there's a brand new principal, and the group has asked me or a principal to take point on this project as a show of faith, as irritating as I find this. And I have to ask myself, do I force this issue? Do I force them to see my point of view, or do I lead them as asked? Some issues that may arise if I lead them, as I have been asked to do. Time. I have to do this quickly, even though this is not something that can be done in like a week. This is something that takes a little bit of time. My knowledge of the community is super limited, and this is a solo job that they're asking me to do, and this is just too much work for one person to do, to be honest. So ways that I can improve my situation, I can consult other admin and see what they think. If I can maybe persuade them one way or the other, or they can persuade them one way or the other. Um, See what they believe because they know the community and I don't. And I can ask others for ideas. Um, some other students, and not other students, but other team members. And I can also need to delegate. I think that's one of the most important things that I can do to help myself is to delegate a lot of these tasks, which would still make me the leader of the group if I tell other people what needs to be done. So the first thing I need to do once I have all of this information together, I need to consult all stakeholders. And like I said earlier, this is something that I need to delegate to other members of the team. This person's job is to talk to teachers. This person's job is to talk to parents. These people, it's their job to talk to students, et cetera, et cetera. And then we can all come back at the next meeting and share what people have said. And we need to figure out what exactly everybody wants as a general group. I need to consult the elementary and high school mission and vision statements and incorporate 21st century school ideas. Like I said, it needs to be future focused. And I need to return to the group with all of my ideas and make some sort of draft. Okay, I think those are two separate things. Return with all the ideas, make sure that those ideas are sound, and then go back, make a draft, and then come back the next meeting and kind of edit this draft and kind of debate this draft. I also think it's important that we need to reach consensus as a group. This is very much a group effort. I After we reach consensus, then I think it's right time to propose statements to the Board of Education and Superintendent. And we need to make any changes that they suggest, and we can keep editing it as many times as necessary. And I think it's important that we ensure statements include diversity, equity, technology, data usage, digital citizenship, and community. So here are my standard integration statements. In this case study, I had to establish the steps I take to create mission and vision statements in a collaborative way, even after the team that was chosen elected to not be as collaborative as I desired. I had to ensure that the statements I would write include data usage, technology, equity, digital diversity, digital citizenship, and community. Relevance. Sometimes I personally get things thrown upon me unwillingly. And so instead of complaining or trying to force my way of thinking upon people, I think I can maybe skirt the issue just a little bit. I can still lead by example, like handle things with grace. I can delegate. And by delegating all that stuff, that would facilitate the collaboration that I so desperately need. So my reflection, I feel like this situation is fairly common. I think two things are important here. First, accepting the role that was chosen for me without a fight, because that would cause a lot of conflict with the team, and that would not be healthy. And two, completing the task ahead as I see fit. Um, I don't think I have to meet this little box, even though they want me to do this by myself. I don't think I have to fit in any sort of little box. I don't think it would be helpful to fight and get back against what the entire elected group asks of me. It would seem childish and probably even lazy. I'd have to accept the challenge with grace. I should also remember that if this much responsibility is thrust upon me, I have all the cards, therefore, I can go about completing the task as needed, as I see as necessary. I can facilitate as much or as little collaboration and delegation as necessary. Okay? And I just want to say thank you for a great quarter, and I've learned a lot. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you.